Welcome back to the channel. In this series, we are comparing Stanley to Nielsen. Now, if you know anything about those two brands, you know that they are very similar. So we're going to take a deep dive into their specs, compare them side by side, see what Nielsen changed, and maybe talk about why. Stick with us. This is video number 4 in the series, and we are looking at the number 4s. Now, I wish I could take credit and say that I planned it all along, but I didn't. If you follow the series, you see that other planes got in the way. But I'm happy that it turned out this way, that we're doing video number 4 on the number 4s. Now, full transparency, I did record a full video. So I showed all the specs side by side. I'm using the Bedrock, so let me mention that first. I'm using the Bedrock 604 as the Stanley model. I didn't feel that it was fair to take any of the other Stanley models and compare it to the Nielsen because the Nielsen copied Bedrock. So, I did record a full video where I looked at all of the specs side by side, looked at all the different measurements, tested them out side by side, and as I'm recording it and as I'm watching the recording, I was like, this is boring. There's no point to do that because the changes are so subtle and so, in my opinion, small when it comes to the 604 to the Nielsen 4 that it wasn't worth it to make a full video on. So some of the standard things that you'll see anytime we're going from Stanley to Nielsen. Nielsen changed the furniture to cherry. On the Stanley, it's rosewood, most of them. The body is now made out of ductile iron, where with the Stanley, it's cast. With ductile iron, if you drop it on the floor, it's not supposed to break. With cast, you drop it on the floor, it breaks. They added bronze. They upgraded the metal type, so the iron is now A2 versus Stanley, which was laminated steel. They also made the iron thicker, so now the iron is 1/8 compared to Stanley, which is 1/16. With the thicker iron, you get less chatter. Because they made all those upgrades, they did make it heavier. So the Nielsen is 4 pounds, 11 ounces. The Stanley is 3 pounds, 9 ounces. But that's pretty much it. There's, I guess, 4 other things that I will mention. So Nielsen added these little notches onto their pins. It's not going to focus, but they added little notches onto the pins so you know where the hole is when you drop it into the plane. I find that super helpful. You can obviously take the Stanley ones and put notches on those if you want to. With the Nielsen Frog, so the wheel right here moves, which in my opinion helps with lateral adjustment. When you get to the Stanley, the wheel doesn't move. They made it so this tab right here is connected by screws. So you can take these screws out and change that tab if you need to. With the Stanleys, it's peened in. So you would have to drill that out and peen another piece in there if it needed replaced. The only other thing is the Stanley Frog, still not going to focus, has these indents on the side. So both sides have these indents. When you see it this way, you can notice it. See that? So Nielsen got rid of that. So Nielsen's doesn't have that. When you look at the Stanley body, there's ribs on the side here that align with those. So that's one of the reasons the Bedrock was a superior plane, because the Frog stayed square, because it was machined that way. Also because it has more of a contact surface, but that's another video. Nielsen pretty much got rid of those ribs. On the Stanley, they're about 1/8. On the Nielsen, they're like 1/16, but then taper down real slim. My assumption is just because machining equipment got better, they didn't need to do that anymore. So they didn't need to put these little indents into the side and just made it easier and said, we're just going to do it this way. But honestly, that's it. Everything else was so small. Like the Nielsen's a little bit longer, a little bit wider. The knobs were like 1 millimeter off on their measurements. The totes were like 1 millimeter off on their measurements, that I just didn't want to waste everybody's time doing a full video looking at those couple changes. Now, when it came to them in use, I did run into an issue with this specific Bedrock. I've used them before, but this one, it's flat here and then it tapers that way. So you could obviously see that in the test, that it wasn't flat along its length. The other thing is, with using normal Bedrocks, you will get chatter more because the iron's thinner. I experience a little bit more backlash with Bedrocks than I do Nielsen's, again, because our machining got better. So when it comes to price, the Nielsen is $340 plus tax and shipping new. In the ductile iron, if you're going to buy it in the bronze, it's $415. Now, Bedrocks, you might be able to get one for around $100, but you're going to have to clean it up. For the ones that are sharp, ready to go, fully cleaned up, you could be anywhere probably from 200 to 300. If you're getting close to the 300 range, just go with the Lee Nielsen, because they did machine it better and it has a thicker iron, and who doesn't love bronze? But that's pretty much it. So I'm sorry if you guys were hoping for more of a normal video like I do, but I didn't see a need for this one. I do have the Stanley chisel plane and the Stanley low angle jack plane to compare those to the Lee Nielsen, so those will be the next videos coming up in the series. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If this is your first video in the series, I'm sorry. Go watch the other ones. But hey, maybe you guys like this one better than the other ones. I don't know. Let me know down below. As always, if you like this video, I am doing that buy me a coffee thing. As you can tell, I upgraded the lights. I upgraded the background. So the next thing is to upgrade the camera because I'm currently using my phone. So the buy me a coffee would help me upgrade the camera if you like this content. And then, of course, like and subscribe. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.